what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box?
You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
Freehan is beating his net at the plate. Crawford is over there watching. Good see, sir. You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row.
All right. I think that means we can move over to our annual Nostradamus prediction show for the 2026 season.
I think award-winning prediction show is what you meant to say.
Yeah, every year, I think at the end of the season, we always revisit this. And we were abysmal last year, I know, for sure. I don't remember what our ridiculous picks were, but they were not good. So we're going to repeat that this year. Everybody does a prediction show. It's fun. I mean, this is why people talk about sports. This is a blast. So we know we'll be wrong, but it's just fun to talk about the whole league, how things affect our teams, how the fates of our teams. I've actually put together like win totals for our 4 teams specifically.
Oh, yeah.
As we start the enemy of my enemy standing starting tomorrow or after tomorrow's games, we'll be able to have a new graphic up every day on Instagram and Twitter and potentially Facebook, keeping track of our 4 teams and how they fare against each other. I try not to be very homerish.
Oh, really?
But that's out the window this year. My predictions are extremely homerish, so you're going to get a kick out of that. I'm assuming yours will be quite homerish with your White Sox and Brewers, probably less so with your White Sox, but you never know.
Ooh, you'd be surprised.
I'm jumping to conclusions here, so
yeah.
I think we might as well, like we always do. Should we start out with the AL East?
The AL Beast. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's got a potential to be the toughest division in all of baseball.
Again.
I think there's all sorts of potential winners, probably a lot of wild card teams coming out of that. What were your predictions?
Well, I was really struggling this year. I believe the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Red Sox all have a equal opportunity of winning this division this year.
That's how I saw it too. Not the Orioles with Pete Alonso being added.
No, somehow that didn't push it over the top. And we know the Rays. Whenever we count the Rays out, then this is the year they usually do some of their voodoo. But I feel like they're finally in a spot where they've got to start I think they are, they're more in a reworking, I wouldn't say necessarily rebuilding, but reworking type of phase in there. So I don't know. It pains me to do this, but I'm going to go with the Bronx Bombers this year, the New York Yankees. They're going to have the AL MVP again this year. So my member of my fantasy team, you may know him as the Judge. That'll bring me to victory this year. So Yankees for the AL East.
Unfortunately, I see it identically to you.
It's off and running.
I've got the Yankees not running away at the division. I think it's going to be tough. And I have, of course, the defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to have them in a wild card slot. And you mentioned the Red Sox. I like their pitching. I like their young offense, but it's not going to be enough to supplant the Yankees at the top of the AL East. I think the key to that was the key to my fantasy team. In the second round, I was able to draft Jazz Chisholm Jr., not to be confused with Chaz Chisholm Jr., as my fantasy team is named. I thought he was the key to the draft because he's by far the best second baseman available in the American League. So I think between those two, I think they're going to run that division down again. I share your thoughts about Tampa. They shouldn't be lurking, but they're always lurking. They always figure out a way to do it, but I think they're going to be down the ways a bit in the AL East. The interesting team will be the Baltimore Orioles, who seemed just 2 years ago on the cusp of taking that division by the throat, but they failed to make the bold move and trade for Tarek Skubal at the trade deadline and have kind of been in a tailspin since that. It's worked out for the Tigers. Thank you. But they added Pete Alonso, which has gotten a lot of people's attention. I don't see Baltimore making a dent though, the way considering the powerhouses in that division. So,
yeah.
unfortunately, we see things the same way in the AL East. I think we need to move now to our AL Central, the battle for the middle of America. Detroit has not won the division despite their playoff success over the last 2 years. They spit the bit and lost to the Guardians again last year. I am picking them to win the AL Central this year after additions of Framber Valdez and, of course, the legendary Justin Verlander. Basically, the Tigers have done everything I asked them to do in this offseason. I wanted them to hold on to Tarik Skubal and optimize his optimal years, hold on to him as long as they could while he is the greatest pitcher on earth, maybe at least number one or number two. They're getting his prime years. They did hold on to him, and they went for it and built on top of that for this one last season, I guess. Adding Framber Valdez to the rotation, of course, Verlander, who's slotting in as their number 4 right now, has looked decent. They also have, as of yesterday, promoted the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, Kevin McGonigal, to the opening day roster. He is officially going to make opening day for Detroit. They actually start in San Diego tomorrow, which is really odd, but he joins an elite group of Tigers who are 21 years old to make their debut, which includes Ty Cobb, Al Kaline, and Alan Trammell. Pretty good group to be in. I just love everything the Tigers did this offseason. I'm not predicting they're going to win 100 games or anything like that. In fact, I only have them winning 88 games, which is just one more than last year, just because of the nature of baseball. But I think they're going to have less trouble in this division than they have in the past. I think the Twins have taken a huge step back. In fact, I think the White Sox might finish ahead of the Twins even. We've got the Guardians, who did basically nothing this offseason. I think they're going to probably finish third. The Royals make me nervous, especially when you pointed out the PECOTA projections have them like a game better than the Tigers. But I think Royals are going to be a problem. But I think the Tigers just have more firepower on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to put the Royals at second and have the Tigers finally winning the AL Central.
Well, I don't see it your way.
Oh, good.
I think the biggest underestimated team in baseball this year is my Chicago White Sox.
Oh my God. Okay.
And since you have the Tigers around 88 wins, I think the White Sox are going to start out with a winning April, something they haven't had in a very long time, and ride that wave with some great team chemistry. And they are going to win the AL Central this season in what it will be considered one of the greatest turnarounds in baseball history. Almost not since the Florida Marlins were down and out and then came back, what were they, 12 games under 500, came back to make the playoffs and defeat the Cubs in 2003.
Oh my God.
The White Sox are going to buzzsaw the weak AL Central.
Oh
I do not see adding Justin Verlander as an improvement for the Detroit Tigers. I think Javi Baez is going to take a step back this year, and I think there's some question marks there. So
you're forgetting Framber Valdez already. I've got one question. It's 12:15 here in Michigan, so it's 11:15 there. What time did you start drinking this morning? What were you drinking? What's in the Gatorade bottle?
Gatorade fruit punch
with some gin. What mixes well with Gatorade these days?
Cold fucking gin. All
right. Well, you definitely guaranteed that we would not have the same picks this year with that pick. So that'll be fun to follow as we can follow it right from the start. You're gonna have a winning April. I like that. I like the White Sox. I have them winning 10 or 11 more games than they did last year. I have them at 71 wins, which I think is realistic. Your pitching scares me. Your bullpen is actually much better, but your starting pitching is not capable of winning the division in my mind. Your offense is going to be fun to watch. It sucks that Kyle Teel got hurt in the World Baseball Classic, which we didn't even talk about. That's the one thing I was fearing with the Tigers, having anybody in the WBC getting hurt for a meaningless exhibition series. That it's just brutal. He sounded like at the time he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Does that bring Teel back at the end of April? Is that the latest, or do we even know yet?
No, I think it'd be more like middle of May, probably.
Okay, boy, that's brutal. Fortunately, you are deep at catcher, or at least young catching prospects. So
we are definitely deep at catcher.
So much so that you just jettisoned Corey Lee, surprisingly, and then got Reese, and then got the chronic masturbator, the carjacker, Reese McGuire.
Yeah, like we're doing a master debate right now about this. Reese McGuire is back. He loves Chicago. I mean, wasn't he on the? He was
with the Cubs last year. Yeah. He was at the White Sox a couple years ago.
Yeah,
he was not masturbating in Chicago. I think this happened in spring training in Florida or something several years ago, but in a car in a parking lot. So I will never forget Reese McGuire. Okay, so I think that's a shocker. We'll go head to head in the AL Central. That'll be fun to watch. So. Should we move to the AL East or AL West?
AL West. Sorry. We already did the East.
Sorry.
What time did you start drinking?
Oh my God! One mistake, and Pardon me.
2 mistakes. You picked the Tigers to win the division. Oh yeah!
Good one.
In your face,
burn. Let's go West.
All right, let's go. Giddy up now. I am going to go with the Seattle Mariners. They are only going to be better again this year. While I was toying between the Mariners and the Athletics, because I actually I think the Athletics are going to be way better than anyone expects.
I do too.
This year.
This is great.
But I'm gonna stick with the Mariners. I think they've got pitching depth. They've got
they do
great offense. Everything. I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, was Cal Raleigh season an anomaly?
It's got to be an anomaly. If not, boy, they are set. They lost Eugenio Suarez free agency, who they picked up at the trade deadline. Still have Randy Arozarena, but apparently seems to be some beef between him and Cal Raleigh, where he told him to fuck off and all sorts of shit during the WBC, but maybe they've mended fences. I love the Mariners as much as you do. Their rotation is ridiculous.
It is.
Just being we're in a AL only fantasy league, but they were basically their whole rotation went in the second or third round, or could have. It's amazing. I think the offense will probably take a little bit of a step back, but I can't see Raleigh doing what he did for my fantasy team, my championship fantasy team last year, the Capital City Dirtbags. He was my second catcher last year. I had Sal Perez as my first. So getting Raleigh was ridiculous. 60 home runs or whatever he hit. But even if he hits 40 home runs, that is such a tremendous asset out of your catching position. They're just way too much for the rest of that division, except for the team you mentioned. I had this as I've got the Los Oklahoma Athletics making the wild card. And I've seen in many places, people are asking the question, could they have the best offense in all of baseball? Could they score the most runs? Being in that weird ass AAA ballpark in Sacramento that played very, very small last year. But the young power they have on that team with Brett Rooker, Nick Kurtz, who he could be an MVP candidate the way he played last year. Jacob Wilson, shortstop. They're going to be fascinating. I think I picked them just out of the blue, just for fun last year as a wild card spot. I'm picking them again for a wild card spot, finishing second in the AL West. Who the fuck else is in the AL West? Houston. They're always annoying, but LA Angels, who are going to be
disaster
in Chicago this weekend playing the Cubs. I just heard a little tidbit. They do not have a traveling radio crew. They don't have a radio broadcast on the road. The Angels. It is that sad in the second largest market in America that they won't pay for their radio team to go on the road. That's the state of affairs with the LA Angels. Houston. There's so many departures in free agency from them. They're going to struggle, I think. And that's it, I guess. So, yeah. The
And
West, I
that's
just
it.
don't give a fuck about West Coast baseball. That's what it comes down to. I just don't pay attention, especially since I maybe paid a little bit more attention when I was in Chicago, but since moving to the Eastern time zone, I'm not staying up to watch those teams play. It's just annoying. So that's probably my bias and my ignorance to some of the details going on out there. But I think I like our picks since you and I picked the exact same thing almost.
Yeah, great.
Should we move to the National League and the East Coast?
Yeah, let's go.
This could also be the best division of baseball, or the most heated battle in all of baseball. After the American League East, I'm curious to see where you went for the division winner of the National League East.
I'm sticking. I believe I did this last year, if I remember correctly. I'm going to stick with the New York Mess. I'm going with the Mess again. I think finally.
Yes.
Finally, this is it.
They're putting it together.
If they don't do it this year, it is never going to happen.
They have finally spent their way to a division championship. It's finally going to work. I totally agree. I was going to zig while you zagged, or zag while you zigged, but you didn't do either. And I just unfortunately picked the Mets as well. I can't believe we've done this again. I kind of just picked it because don't they have to win the division at some point with that roster? I mean, adding Bo Bichette, I think, is brilliant.
Yes.
They're going to outspend their incompetence. I think their incompetence will show up in the playoffs, though, or they'll fall flat on their faces once again. But yeah, I think it just seems like way too much not to win that division. There's tough competition, though, in that division.
Yeah, no, there is, especially with the Phillies and the Braves. But I mean, are the Braves where are the Braves at this point after last year? I don't know.
If they stay healthy, which they're already not healthy. What's his name? Their starting pitcher already got hurt, but anyway, yeah, I feel like injuries have always derailed the Braves, but when they're healthy, they're right in the mix. I've got them winning a wild card slot, but you've also got the Phillies in the mix, which they should be right there too. I've got the Phillies. I do have the Phillies winning another of the 3 wild card slots. So yeah, I've got 3 NL East teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what we do every year, and it works. It's the only thing that works. We're right. Yep. We may not pick the right division winner, but in every case, it's always going to be 3 NL East teams right now in the playoffs.
We're really helped by putting half the fucking league into the playoffs, so that Major League Baseball is expanded, so it helps a lot. But yeah, we can usually get some of those right.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about Washington? Do we need to talk about Miami?
No,
I don't think we need to.
I don't think we need to. I mean,
Washington's not even bringing up their top prospect, Dylan Cruz. I just heard yesterday. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's asinine. I think they'll be whatever talent they do have will be plucked away at the trade deadline in both cases. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think that moves us to the contentious NL Central, where this is the first year as a podcast we have head-to-head battles because we've added the Brewers to our repertoire as the Brewers continue to win the division every year despite the serious disadvantages they have to the Cubs, who have not exploited their advantages. I can guarantee what you're going to pick, and you can probably guarantee what I'm going to pick. So should we just go ahead and do this?
Yeah, let's do this.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go with the team who runs the division, the Milwaukee Brewers. It's their division to lose, I would put it that way, as the Cubs continue to fall short. And I don't see any reason why the Cubs wouldn't fall short again. They don't really over the last few years, they haven't really added. What they've done is they've subtracted and then filled the gap. There's
the addition of Bregman, but that replaces Tucker.
Yeah, that replaces Tucker. So I just don't. And Bregman, to me, is a little more gimpy these days than even Tucker. So, what are you going to get out of him?
He's not gimpy right now, but he could be, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest asset really for the Cubs outside of PCA having a similar or better season is if their rotation stays healthy. That'll be tough. That'll be
They've got
tough for the
Justin
Brewers.
Steele returning potentially in June, so that could bolster the rotation. I understand. The Brewers just defy logic. They get rid of all their best players and they get better somehow. They've won the division the last 2 years and won more games each year, even after they give away their best players. They gave away one of their best pitchers this year, Freddie Peralta. They got some great prospects back, but I don't think they're going to help them this season necessarily. But I mean, the Brewers won 97 games last year. Cubs won 92. It's like that should have won the NL Central. 92 games should have, but the Brewers just figure out a way to do it. I think that magic is finally going to run out. I don't think it's going to be it's going to be a devastating fall. I think you're going to win. I think the Brewers are going to win 87 games. I think that's a realistic total and make the wild card. The Cubs are going to be basically similar to what they were last year. I'm going to have them winning one less game. I'm going to have them winning 91 games and winning the AL Central or the NL Central. You and I can debate this forever, but there is a voodoo that we've talked about many times with the Brewers. I can't see it lasting forever. Even when that does run out, they're still a playoff contender right there. So, the Cardinals are no longer a contender. They're no longer relevant, which is like the first time in our lives.
I know. And as much as I like it, I actually don't.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. It's like self-inflicted too. They just sort of decided they were going to be nobodies. What are you doing? They traded away their best players, and they're hoping for some prospects to come up, but they're the architects of their own demise and don't seem to be doing much about it. So I see what you're saying about it. Kind of sucks that the Cardinals should be good just for the sake of baseball.
Yes,
but I hate the Cardinals so much. I revel in it, but yeah, it seems wrong.
I mean, we really are in a way. It is good though that the Brewers have like stepped up. That there is a good rivalry for the Cubs in the division. That wasn't
the Cardinals even. I mean, it's
right.
A great rivalry,
right? Because if it wasn't, the Cubs would be running away with. They would have been the last couple years. So I mean, at least there's there's tension there. It's not just lots. Like. It's not like what we're going to do next when we stroll over to the NL West.
Yeah. Well, do we need to talk about the Reds? I mean, I love Tito Francona.
I mean, will they make noise like they always do? Yeah.
They will, and then they'll fade because they don't have the resources. I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are actually going to be far more interesting. They've actually added to the club. They've got... of course, Paul Skeens, but they've got the number one prospect in baseball, but they didn't even call him up. He's only 19 years old. I forget his name, but they've added free agency as well. But I think they're kind of, well back in the division. There's two horses, and we're going to be following that horse race closely out for the first time on this podcast. So I love our format change. I don't know if anyone else gives a fuck, but you and I are going to have fun with this for sure.
We sure are.
I think with that, we have to move to the inevitable NL West. I mean, should we even talk about the division? I mean, what's the point?
No, I mean, we all know talking about a division for someone's division to lose. It's the Dodgers' division to lose, and I think the only thing that slows this team down would be catastrophic. And I'm going to say this word specifically: a catastrophic amount of injuries. Because
plane crash.
I mean, honestly, like, because what we've seen
I feel bad
that's morbid, but
they had so many injuries last year.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Bulldozer.
Yes, you'd have to be catastrophic. They have so much depth. To me, they have more depth than any team in baseball, and they will probably continue to.
Yeah. That's why we're having we're gonna have a whole new CBA that just dismantles their setup. So
So I mean, great. I don't have anything to add. They're a great team. They're
basically the zenith of the way baseball teams should be built. They've optimized every level of it. They spend more money. They can spend more money, which is total bullshit. Why they can spend more money with their TV deal, grandfathered in, that they don't have to share money from. But they also built the best farm system, or one of the best.
Yeah.
And they do everything right. They've got everything there. They should have been winning championships far before this. It was hilarious for all the years they didn't win championships to us. Now it's just frustrating that they've exploited all their advantages and now are dominant. Fortunately, the nature of baseball playoffs means that is far from certain to happen, as it almost did not happen for them this past season. We'll get to our playoff predictions here in a moment, but yeah, of course, the Dodgers are going to win the division. Who else in the? You've got the Padres are always interesting because they tried to spend and then they got eventually outspent. They spent above their weight. I think they're just going to be 5 to 10 games behind the Dodgers. Giants are always in the mix, but I mean, are they going to come out of nowhere and win 107 games like they did a couple years ago?
You see that? No on that one.
I don't see that. I think Arizona's taken a step back. They were surprising for a while, and now I think their window of opportunity is probably closing. And I mean, Rockies, Jesus Christ, are they even a AAA team? I mean, they might struggle against AA teams for all I know, but yikes. So yeah, that's the inevitability of the NL West. The Dodgers will take that division. So wait, we've got how many divisions did we pick the same? 4 out of 6?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think we just differ in the Centrals. Which is not surprising.
What a shocker.
So I mentioned my wild card teams through the course of this. So I had Toronto, Boston, Oakland, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Philly all making the playoffs.
Yeah. I've got Toronto, Boston, and the Tigers.
Oh, okay.
And then in the NL, it's the Cubs, Phillies, and Braves.
So I think we've got like 10 out of 12 that match up, or
for like playoff potential.
Maybe 9. I've got Sacramento in there. That's hilarious. Well, should we predict our World Series? We could go through all the divisions, or all the division series. I think we just pick the World Series. This is where I get as homer can be. As I have my Detroit Tigers winning the World Series over my Chicago Cubs in 7 games.
Didn't you do this last year?
I've never done this. I've always refrained from doing this.
Didn't they once play in a World Series? Don't you have a painting of that or something?
They played 3 or 4 times in the World Series. They won in 1935. That is a painting I have in my house that you pointed out. Hey, did you know the Tigers are playing the Cubs in this game? Yes, that is why it's in my house. They won. They played each other 45, 35. I want to say like 1908. They played each other a lot in the previous century. They will play each other once again in 2026. I will have heart attacks.
Well, that's not good.
2 weeks straight. Baseball will end forever after the 2026 season. But I will die a happy man as the Tigers win the World Series in 7 games over the Chicago Cubs.
Wow.
Basically, I've got more predictions involving that. I'm saying the Cubs are going to trade for Joe Ryan at the trade deadline to get away from the Minnesota Twins, who will be a disaster, but to get that asset away from him. And I've got the Tigers adding to the rotation, getting Sandy Alcantara or Alcantara, depending on how you pronounce it. So those are the reasons I think the Tigers are going to be. The Tigers have already decided they're going for it this year. They're not going to slow down at the trade deadline. They've got assets in the farm system they can give away for pitching depth that I think everyone needs at the deadline. So they're going for it, and they will take it.
All right. Wow.
What do you think of that?
Could be the worst World Series in the history of baseball. Almost worse than this year's World Series.
Both teams, just in my defense, both teams were 1 game away from making it to the division or to the championship series in both their leagues. So it's not like out of nowhere these teams come in. Much like your White Sox just come in out of nowhere. Are they winning the World Series?
They are.
We have them winning the division.
They are not going to win. No. That's a year away. That's next year. Here's an early preview to next year's prediction show. White Sox win the World Series.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
there will be no prediction show because there's no season.
That's why they're winning it.
Can't lose if you
MLB
don't play.
The Show. All right, this year's World Series. I hope you're sitting down.
I am.
Drinking that Coke Zero. It is going to be the Milwaukee Brewers over the New York Yankees in 6 games.
That's such a depressing idea. Right.
It is a great idea. It'll be fun to watch. The Yankees will try to hit their way out of it, but the Brewers pitching and bullpen will stand stout, and they will get late inning heroics from their team and pull this out.
My question with that scenario is, wouldn't Pat Murphy have to retire immediately after that Game 6 victory in the World Series? Like, how could things get any better for him? He'd win the NL Manager for the third year in a row. He'd then finally win the World Series on top of that. He'd be the greatest manager in Brewers. He already is the greatest manager potentially in Brewers history.
What
would he have to accomplish? I think that'd be the end.
Do the Cubs try to get him down?
The Cubs hire him away. Yes. I like that.
Yes. And he finally, Craig Counsell now realizes he's shit and goes into hiding and becomes a recluse because his backup, his successor wins the World Series with his prior team that he got all the accolades for, then comes in and wins the World Series with the Cubs a few years later.
He's gonna win Pat Murphy's that good. He's gonna wow. These are all scenarios I had not considered before this moment. That just blew my mind. Oh my goodness. I love the idea of Pat Murphy retiring from the Brewers only to go to the Cubs. Wow.
Craig Counsell, it turns to a life of
crime.
Of crime.
Oh wow! This is far exceeded my expectations for Nostradamus 2026.
I want to live up to the name. I'm going all in this year.
You have definitely gone in with your White Sox winning the division and Pat Murphy winning the World Series, then going to the Cubs. This is I can't wait to write these headlines.
Okay. Anyway, let me put the crystal ball away.
Well, that was all worth it. Do we want to do Cy Young MVPs?
I can do it. I'm prepared. Unlike last year, where
I was wondering if you prepared.
I prepared this year.
Okay. What do you got for league MVPs?
I alluded to it. I'm going with Judge and Jury for the AL.
Yep.
And I'm going to be boring and go with Ohtani for the NL.
I've got Ohtani. I think everyone's got Ohtani. The only way he doesn't is if he gets hurt. He's going to be pitching much more this year than he did last year. So that, he's another level of human. Like they need a different league for him, a higher division than Major League Baseball. He just belongs on a different plane.
Right.
I've got Cal Raleigh winning the MVP as he should have last year with the 60 home runs, despite Aaron Judge's tremendous year. I think a catcher does so much more on the field, both sides of the ball, and he hit 60 fucking home runs. Like, what does he have to do to win an MVP? I'm going to give it to the
Yankees.
Yeah. If he was on the East Coast, he definitely would have won. Yeah, if he was on the Yankees, he definitely would have won. So that's a great point by you. For Cy Young, of course, I've got Tarik Skubal winning his unprecedented third in a row. I don't see why he won't. I don't see anyone challenging him in the American League as on their way to a World Series championship.
I'm going to go with Garrett Crochet on that one.
I had him last year, I think, and I think that's a great pick. They were both on my fantasy roster at one point last year, my championship team. I think it's a great pick by you. I like that a lot. If Skubal's going to take a little bit of a step back, I think Crochet could fill that void easily. For NL, I'm going to go Yamamoto. Just the inevitability of the Dodgers. I think it sucks, but that's the pick I'm going to make. Who do you have? I'm going to
go with a repeat for Paulie Skeens.
Yeah, I think that's a safe pick. I just wanted to do something a little bit different, but it was even worse picking a Dodger. But yeah, I think you probably can't go wrong with Skeens.
All right.
Rookies of the year.
I know where you're going with this one. It's going to be a real shocker. Hold on. Let me see. Does his last name begin with an M?
Yes, McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal is on the opening day roster. I think the only reason I wouldn't have picked him for Rookie of the Year, baseball's number 2 prospect, is if he didn't make the club coming out of spring training, but he did yesterday officially. He was arguably the Tigers' best hitter in spring training. He had a close to 900 OPS. His defense was the only question anyone had, but he's been great. Every game I've seen or heard people talk about, he's been tremendous at short, at third, wherever they put him. He puts in the work and is not just average. I think I call him above average fielder. So, that's what got him on the major league squad to start the season. I think the only thing that was going to hold him back was the defense, and has not been a problem. Gives the Tigers tremendous depth, tremendous flexibility because he can play all over the place. Tigers have options at short, at third, in center field. But McGonigal is, as I mentioned earlier, joining the pantheon of Ty Cobb, Al Kaline, and Alan Trammell as 21-year-olds to make their debut with the Detroit Tigers.
Congratulations.
I think I know what your pick is going to be for AL.
I'm going to go with something that is the baseball loophole. When a player comes over from Japan and is more of a veteran player, they have a tendency to win Rookie of the Year or from another country because they Jose Abreu for the White Sox from Cuba. And I'm going to go with Murakami just because there's that they know they don't know the AL MLB season, but they have that seasoning that a real rookie doesn't have.
How old is he? 20? Is he 26?
Or 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah, so he's he's just older. He's a man. He's not an adolescent growing into manhood. He's already a man, and we've seen what he can do in Japan.
And see plus, if that translates. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll see if it translates in the major leagues. I think there's good reason to believe it will. I think the only problem is he's going to strike out a shitload. But if he hits 40 home runs, it's going to be hard to not give him AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and I think since they're going to win the division too, that that makes him the shoo-in. But honestly, your pick is very solid. He looks like the real deal, McGonigal. So all joking aside, on that case, I was toying between the two, but I'm like, well, why am I can't pick a Tiger again. I picked too many Tigers over the last few years. I picked the Tigers to win the division last year. That's enough.
Enough. Well, you're going to be shocked with my NL Rookie of the Year. Mo Baller from the Chicago Cubs, Moises Ballesteros. He will be, he's actually like a backup catcher, but he's really a DH. He reminds me a lot of Alejandro Kirk from there's a lot of people of Kirk from the Blue Jays, but he's built like a fire hydrant. I'm not sure he's going to be catching very much at all, but he is going to be hitting the fucking ball. He looks like he was just born to hit. And I think he's really going to help the Cubs offense this year and lead them to a World Series loss to my Tigers.
All right. Well, I am going to go with my guy. I would have put this guy on my roster if we did NL players. Nolan McLean.
Oh,
the pitcher from the Mets.
World Baseball Classic loser.
Yes, but he had a hell of an end of the season last year with the Mets, and I think he's easily going to win Rookie of the Year this year.
That's an interesting pick. That makes a lot of sense.
As long as he can stay on the field.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I could pick a Brewer or something, but I just can't this time. So,
not yet.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a solid pick. Yeah, he was rumored to be in, whatever potential trade deadline deals for Tarik Skubal coming back to the Tigers from the Mets. McLean. Amongst others. So, yeah, I think that's a well reasoned picks. I think our picks I think the majority of our picks are well reasoned. I'm actually surprised. There's a couple that are ridiculous.
No, not any of mine. Not any of mine.
Well, that was fun. That was a blast. Your Pat Murphy to the Cubs after winning the World Series just made my day.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
One guy poured beer all over my head. The guy said, how can you take that? I said, look, that man didn't do nothing. He poured some beer on my head. He's just showing he's a White Sox fan. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Sparky, a million thanks for, as always, the most interesting interview. And now today, let's just have a lot of thrilling baseball and not so many fisticuffs.
Word Hole Media.